All right. The next part, E, is basically when somebody basically causes defaces something, basically vandalizes property like a grave site or anything else that's a monument and all of that. That's that E part down there. So I really don't want to read all that because that's not relevant to what we're talking about. But a person who commits the offense of criminal trespass shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. All right. So remember, Georgia law, somebody can attempt a citizen's arrest, which means keeping them from preventing them from leaving the scene of the crime or what took place, if they are, if they are a eyewitness to or have immediate knowledge of somebody committing a crime, a felony, a misdemeanor. All right, a misdemeanor or a felony. Okay. And so now going back to this, I was having this conversation earlier with a brother in the Lord, man. We were talking about this part here. Enters that person's land or premises for an unlawful purpose. So I mentioned in the comment section when I was having this conversation that we have to define what a lawful purpose would be and what an unlawful purpose would be. But guys, that's to me that's me being a little, not being sarcastic, but kind of posing a question to get us to think a little bit. What is a lawful reason? Let's be clear. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. What is a lawful reason for someone being inside of a home that's under construction where they're not the worker there, the owner there, or anything else? And you can say, people gave stories about, hey, I've gone on properties before that didn't belong to me. Just want to look around and see what's going on and all of that stuff like that. Okay, if you've gone inside without the consent of the owner, you were trespassing. You just didn't get caught. They didn't make no. And if you were caught, they decided not to make a big deal out of it for you. That doesn't mean that you didn't commit a crime. Let's be clear, because it's an unlawful purpose. What is the lawful purpose of being there? Obviously, you look at everything that's on here as far as what will make it lawful is that you will have the consent of the owner. All right, if the owner tells you to leave, then you don't have the consent of the owner any longer. Obviously, you did at one point because you were there, but then you don't. They tell you to leave. And if you remain of consent of the owner, you're there unlawfully. All right. Now, some people try to make the claim that because there was no signs put up, that this was like, hey, no trespassing, or this is private property, then hey, it was open season. Guys, Georgia, not just Georgia law, just law, just the law in general gives us the common sense to know that this is definitely not a public place. This isn't a park. This isn't a water park or a pool, or neighborhood pool. This is someone's home. This is someone's home that's being built. Saying somebody's property that they pay money for. All right. So there are contractors who are supposed to be present on the place doing work, but they aren't at this time. All right. So those people who are lawfully there, by law, they were okay to be there because there's an agreement between them and the owner to be there at a certain time to do a job. When their work day is over with, those construction people go home. You don't see, because there's no signs up that says no trespassing, you don't see those construction workers coming back getting the beer up on the porch. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. Why? Because they don't have the consent of the owner to do so. All right. So that's what this comes down to. Trespass is simply that, guys. And what gets me about situations like this that happens is it causes a lot of us to just get away from what is clear. We don't focus on what is clear anymore. And that's what bothers me about this, because we don't deal with anything else like this. And that's what hurts me most about this situation is like when it's dealing with race and all those things come into play. This is where we feel like, okay, well, there may have been a loophole. This may be, I don't know. The law isn't as clear as that, or that doesn't really make as much sense. Like, no, like we don't deal with nothing else like that. Unless every one of you have a sign on your home that says no trespassing, given that's being a warning. Let someone just happen to just walk up in your home. You have your door open and somebody just happen to walk in. I mean, they didn't commit a crime. They're not trespassing. Now, you may tell them to leave, but you can't really say they did anything wrong. They didn't. What wrong was committed? I mean, they just saw your door open and just happened to walk in. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, if you happen to go outside right now, it could be late where you are and see somebody sitting in your backyard. Man, what are you doing? I mean, they probably smoking. They're probably drinking a beer, whatever case may be, probably just laying down. But they're not doing anything wrong. They're just on your property without your consent. That's an unlawful purpose. Their purpose wasn't lawful. It doesn't mean that they had to be there to steal something. It doesn't mean that they had to be there to hurt somebody. Those could be byproducts of them being there or them trespassing. But the fact that they're there without your consent makes it trespassing. Now, I made this comment earlier on a Facebook post that, I mean, if you're walking down the street and you happen to stop and tie your shoe in someone's grass, I mean, no, I mean, I don't think you end up going to jail behind that, but the person they would have the right to come out there and tell you, hey, get off my lawn. And you could call them a jerk. You could say you can call them all kind of names, but they have the right to tell you, get off my lawn because you're trespassing. You're on my lawn, and I didn't tell you to be here. And you could stop, to tie your shoe, you could stop, just to, just want to take a breath. Look at the neighborhood, and everything else. That person has a right to come out and tell you, get off my property. You don't have my consent to be here. That alone shows it's unlawful. Not having the consent of the owner is an unlawful purpose. We don't have to get tied up in the terms. We don't have to get tied up in the terms, guys. The only lawful reason to be there is having the consent of the owner. I hope I don't want to have to beat that dead horse a lot, but I hope that's that. Now, Dennis makes a good point. Thank you, Dennis. I hope you're still here. Dennis, thank you. Because this is what I've been hearing a lot, and I want to address this. If someone breaks the law, I don't have the sudden right to assault them or brandish weapons at them. But that's not what happened here. It's not what happened. Okay. And this is the thing. This is why that video was so important, guys. I want to play for you guys. And I really do hope. I know it's hard. I know it may be difficult for you guys to watch it again. I understand. And if you don't want to watch it again, I understand. But guys, this right here comes from this right here will come from not having understanding of what actually took place. They did not assault him because he broke a crime, because he broke the law. That's not why he was assaulted. That is not why. That was why they was attempting a citizen's arrest. And this is why I broke this up in two questions. This is why I approached it this way. Because we have to look at things as they happen, bit by bit, point by point, to really see what broke down. What happened? What broke this down? How did something like this turn to be something fatal? How did that happen? But it did not happen because he committed a crime. Guys, now you can try to judge the intentions of their heart and say they really was racist. They were just looking for a reason. That could be true. I don't know their heart. All right. But given what we have here, they did not shoot him. They did not shoot him, or they did not. Yeah, they didn't shoot him because that he broke the law. And once again, because of, like I said, I was trying to show you guys in the video, Travis, when he stood out that vehicle, he had his shotgun. Now, whether he needed a shotgun out there with him or not, we can argue that. So him open carry laws means he just got to make it visible. He has to have that shotgun visible, especially if it's loaded. You know what I'm saying? Now, once again, that video shows, and I'm gonna stay on this, guys, because watch the video and I hope you guys look at it too. The video shows Ahmaud running towards Travis as he's getting out the truck. It shows that. But as soon as he gets out and he then now, as you say, brandishes that weapon because he sees somebody running at him, he brandishes the weapon. He doesn't fire it. Now, keep in mind, if he just wanted to shoot him, he could have shot him right then and there. And then I'm not saying he would have been right to do it, but that could have been happening. If all he wanted to do was shoot him, if that was his intention was that I want to kill this man, then as soon as Ahmaud started running towards his passenger side, his driver's side door, then he could have just shot him. And guys, a shotgun shoots far. It would have shot pretty far. It shoots them pellets out, but it would have shot far enough to hit him if he really wanted to do so. But he didn't. What Ahmaud does, it then runs around the truck. Okay, so that's what happens. And we're going to get into the point about but we're going to get into the point about when they actually get into the struggle, because that's important. That is important. So now I agree with you. Him breaking the law does not mean that he should be assaulted, but that's not what happened here. Then he says, but the brothers arguing about trespassing should know better. Trespassing is trespassing. One can argue that he was wrongfully killed while agreeing he was a thief or a trespasser. Yes, and that's the thing. Like even if we haven't even got to the point of whether or not the gun should have been involved, but we got to at least admit that he was trespassing, that there was a misdemeanor that was committed, and there was an eyewitness to the fact that he was a trespasser. This was not somebody passing along the word. This is somebody was an eyewitness to what happened, and then gave immediate knowledge to the neighbors that this is what the guy was. This is who it is. Okay, this is what it is. This is immediate knowledge. This now gives them the right to make a citizen's arrest. Whether or not you would have done it yourself, or will you not have done it yourself, or whatever, that doesn't matter here. What matters is what happened. And according to their rights, what they have a right to do and what they don't have a right to do. So they would have had the right to make a citizen's arrest because he was trespassing. And in Georgia, that is a criminal offense, a misdemeanor. All right. Now, in other states, it may not be the case. In other states, they may not look at that as being a trespass, or they may not look at it as being a misdemeanor, But in Georgia, it is. And that's why these things matter. It is in Georgia. Then it says, thanks for the interaction, brother. I mean, assault in the legal sense. I am distinct assault and battery. Okay, well, I'm sorry if I misunderstood that, brother. And so, yeah, you see, but even in the legal sense, you may say that they didn't have to, or didn't mean they had to, but that's come to a point of preference. So just like, for instance, I have the right, if somebody comes in, if I witness someone uh taking something of mine, I have a right to either call the police or don't call the police, handle it myself, whether that may be wrong or right, handle it myself or don't handle it myself. You know what I'm saying? I have a right to do with that as I will. Now, whether I may choose the right decision, the wise decision or not, that's on me. But I have a right to do what I will at that point. I have a right at that point. If somebody takes something from me, I don't have a right to kill them. I can call the police. You know what I'm saying? If I see them do it, commit the crime, which is theft, that would be, a crime worth doing a citizen's arrest on. I can choose to hold them if I can. If I keep them in the same vicinity without them leaving, I can do that. Now, do I want to risk that? No, that depends. Do I have my children with me? Do I have my wife with me? What's going on? I mean, I may take all that into consideration, but I have that right to do so. Okay. This is what all it comes down to, whether or not they had the right to. That's why I posed the question. I didn't say whether they should have or not, because that can be very subjective. But the point is, did they have the right to do so? Because they're going to go to stand before trial. They're going to stand before a judge and a jury of their peers. They're going to give an answer for what happened. So did they have the right to do what they did? And according to the information, they had a right to attempt a citizen's arrest, albeit that this didn't turn out that way because of what happened afterwards. Okay. But they did have a right to attempt a citizen's arrest. All right. So that's the point to try to bring out there. Let's see other tab I want to look at here. All right. So look at that. Right to an arrest. Okay, it was another video shows them at the construction site. Okay, now I'm gonna pull this up because we can't get into this because this was my last screen to share. All right. All right, so the last one we're gonna look at is the use of force. You see, I'm gonna pull this up. I appreciate you doing this because I want to understand what you're saying, man. Assault is based on the perspective of the one assaulted. For example, if I commit battery against The Rock, I have not necessarily assaulted him. He probably did not feel threatened and would crush me. Good point. And once again, guys, this is I like that. And once again, guys, this is the thing: if they and giving people the benefit of the doubt that they actually believe that he was carrying, then this is why they believe that they needed to have a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Given that fact, you know what I'm saying? If they believe that he could have had a weapon, but to be fair, according to the video, it wasn't like they were steady, like Travis was on the side of the road, already out the vehicle when Ahmaud was turning the corner, and he's like, "Stop, Negro, I'm gonna shoot you." Like that wasn't what was happening. All right. According to the police report, now this is just police report. We don't have video of this, but according to the police report, he put up alongside him, told him to stop. We just want to talk. He didn't. He wasn't listening. He wasn't trying to hear that, and which I don't blame him. Especially if he knows that, especially that we know that he was the one coming out of that house. He knows why they're trying to stop him, guys. This is no longer an issue of, oh, I'm just minding my business and these guys are trying to stop me and they got guns. Like, no, he knows he knows he was wrong. That's why he took off running like he did. He knows he was wrong. And he knows these guys called the cops. He knows the cops are on their way. He's trying to get away like anybody else would do. If I rob a store, I'm not going to try to stay there and wait for the police to come just because you tell me to stop. I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to try my best to get away. And that is what he was doing. He was trying to get away. So he wasn't trying to hear them talking about some stop. We want to talk to you. No, he already know what the deal is. He's trying to leave the scene. He's trying to get away. I get it. All right. But we can't paint this picture now that we can't no longer paint the picture that he's just, he's out of fear because he don't know what these men are going to do to him. Like, no, the police was called. Police was coming. All right. And then when the truck stopped, he ran towards the driver's side door. Now, whether or not he was going to attack Travis or not, we don't know because it didn't get to that point. But he wasn't running in that direction. He was going on the other side of the truck, seeing Travis getting out the truck. He ran. He made a quick dash going towards Travis. But then when he saw him get that gun out and that shotgun got pointed at him, he went around the right side of that truck. He went on behind the truck. I mean, on the other side of the truck, and he kept going. I mean, he was like going on the side of the truck, and that was we saw that part. All right. So now that's where we are. Let's pause here. Let's not necessarily pause, but then now we can get into the point about the carry, and then everything else. Now in Georgia, I don't think I pulled that up. The carry laws. Now, according in Georgia, concealed carry, you need to have a permit. All right. If you want to keep a pistol, anything concealed on you on your person, you need a permit. All right. But to carry, you can carry a shotgun or a rifle, long barrel. When it's loaded, you can open carry, but you have to carry it at your side. Carry it at your side. It has to be seen. You can't hide that. All right. That's in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to open carry a shotgun. I don't recommend going down neighborhoods in Georgia carrying a shotgun. I don't do that. I have a shotgun. I will not walk down my neighborhood with a shotgun in my arm. I just won't do it. You know, it won't be the wisest thing for me to do. Though I have the right to do it, I will not be doing it. You know, not because I'm black, just because it don't make sense. Why would I do that? Unless I plan on using it. You know, I don't need to be doing that. Okay. But and now in my vehicle, I have a right to carry it in my vehicle. So I can keep my guns in my vehicle, and it's there. In Georgia, it's considered another part of your home. So I can carry it in my vehicle. Okay. So like that, we have the right to that. That is what's troubling about the law. Assault is inherently subjective. Yeah, it's why, and that's why I think that's why it takes a lot of time to get into all this information, man. You know, it's important to get into information to see, to make it more objective, where we sit on some actual concrete truth. All right. So anyway, so yeah, so in Georgia, it's okay to open carry. So Travis, whether you say it was wise or unwise, when he stood out that truck and he had his shotgun on him, which like I said, I told you earlier, guys. I told you an hour ago now, an hour ago, that if I was Travis, knowing that I know that my father has a 357, he's on the tailgate of the truck, he got my back. If we think he's armed, I'm gonna get out. Especially if I told him I just want to talk, I'm gonna get out, leave my shotgun in the truck, stop. Because once again, Ahmaud is behind the truck at this point. I would stop and say, "Hey, stop, stop. The police on the way." That's what I would try to do. Like, "Hey, might as well stop, man. Police coming. Stop." You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept running. Now if he would try to attack me at that point or whatever, and it turns out that he has a gun on him, I'm gonna pray and hope that my father is quick with the draw. You know what I'm saying? That's just the hope. I'm just hoping that he is quick with the draw. All right. Now we have a hand-to-hand fight. Unless I feel like I'm about to lose my life, then that's another thing. That's where the stand the ground come in. We're gonna look at that law. All right. So anyway, now we get to the point where he's on the now. So we see Ahmaud runs around on the right side of the truck, but then we see him dash in front of the truck. Now we don't see Travis here. So some people argue, which Samuel Say from Slow to Right on the .org, I believe, he made a claim. He made the point that he believes because of the way Travis was positioned on the road, that he thinks that Travis may have advanced towards Ahmaud, which then provoked Ahmaud to run in front of the truck to basically, hey, if you're gonna let me leave, I might as well fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's perspective he gives. I don't necessarily go with that, but that's another perspective. All right. So what we do see, I just go by what we do see. What we do see is Ahmaud going the right side of the truck. Once again, I'm coming from the point that I've already seen Ahmaud try to attempt to go at Travis once. My thing is, if he knows he got a gun on him, he knows he got a shotgun, and they're at an intersection, guys. It wasn't like a dead end road. They're at an intersection. Ahmaud could have went around the right side of that truck. He could have went on down that other road or went into the next yard or whatever the case may be and just kept going. Could have. That ain't what he did. He may have felt like, hey, man, I done looted these guys twice. They're not going to let me go. They're not going to let me leave. I ain't got no choice but to sit here and try to just throw down. I'm going to get that gun from him. All right? That's what it comes down to. So Ahmaud approaches. He makes that right. He makes that right towards the front of the truck. Next thing you know, you hear that gun fire off. All right? You hear it fire off. And according to how the report goes, and according to all that's being said about it, is that basically, I guess also with the coroner's data, as far as him, the defense, the wounds on Ahmaud, that he had one shot go through his hand. So obviously he reached for the barrel of the gun and went in front of the gun. It probably was the first shot. The second shot, it seemed like it shot towards like the lower part of his body, because they saw blood spatter go up, like the upwards position, as if blood was went like blood splattered, went up. I don't know how that stuff, but anyway, the second shot was in his hand. All right, so the first shot had to be through his hand, probably when he was reaching for the gun. All right, second shot, they was tussling over the gun, wrestling for the shotgun. Ahmaud is throwing down. We see this video. Ahmaud is punching. He's going for broke. All right, as he's doing all that, only thing Michael is doing is trying to keep control of the gun, and he's firing. He fires once. When initial starts off, he fires again as a tussling, and then the third and final one. All right, and so that's what happens in that video. Now we have to dispel the myth, guys. This wasn't the case of someone walking down the street, mind their own business, and then these guys just hunt him down like a dog, or they shoot him down like a dog. And we got to be clear too that this wasn't Ahmaud running away and then he gets shot because he's running away, or as he's running away. This isn't the case. When they're having this tussle, some people say as they're having a tussle and that third shot comes in, it seems like Ahmaud is trying to run away and then he just drops. Like, no, that's not what happens. Ahmaud was still in fight mode. He was still in fight mode. If you look at the video after he gets that third shot, it's like he was reaching. He was tensing up to throw another punch, realizing that he couldn't no more. He couldn't no more. That was it. He grabs where the wound is, and then he stumbles and he falls. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't him attempting to try to not run away from the fight, because he didn't have to engage in the fight. You know, and look at this. If Ahmaud did not attempt to grab for the gun, and I know some people say you're trying to put the blame on Ahmaud. No, this is just what it is. We're gonna look at the Georgia law. All right. Now he did not have to die that day. We can all agree with that. He did not have to die. He did not have to get shot that day. And what took place was that while he was running away and keeping this chase going, he decided to grab for the gun. At that very point, he gave McMichael the ammunition that he needed to say, "Hey, my life is threatened." Because if we're having a fight over a gun, if I know you want my gun, I don't think you want my gun just to look at it. Let's be real, guys. Let's be honest with each other. If somebody trying to take your gun from you, whether it be a shotgun or a pistol, they're not trying to take your gun from you. You're not going to assume they're going to just take your gun from you just to look at it and notice how good looking it is and hand it back to you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to assume that. That's not to be assumed. And you're not going to assume that you're going to take the gun from you just to throw it down, disarm it like they do in the movies. Like the guy, he gets the gun, he breaks it down and throws it down. No, we don't suspect that either. We don't assume that either. You know what I'm saying? He went for his gun. And at that point, it becomes dangerous. It becomes to a point where a life threatening dangerous.